Okay, so for this next video lecture, so we are now in the third element of system of internal control, which is the process to monitor the system of internal control. Okay, so here, the entity's process to monitor their system of internal control is also a continual process, just like the risk assessment process. Okay, so this is done to evaluate the effectiveness of the entity's system of internal control and to take necessary remedial actions on a timely basis. So in this case, the entity now will focus on the monitoring of how system of internal control is being implemented, okay, in the whole organization. So monitoring may consist of ongoing activities. Okay, so there might be separate evaluations that may be conducted periodically or some combination of the two. So here, monitoring can be done and can be given to the internal auditors, okay, as one of their tasks to make sure that the organization follows its implemented system of internal controls. So monitoring of controls may include activities such as review of the management, whether this is just the specific example, okay, review of whether bank reconciliations are being prepared on a timely basis, the internal auditor's evaluation of the sales personnel compliance with the policies in terms of sales contracts, and a legal department's oversight of compliance with the entity's ethical and business practice policies. Okay, so these are the more specific types of monitoring activities. Okay, so monitoring is done to ensure that controls continue to operate effectively over time, or if it needs to be changed, or if actions or remedial actions are needed. Okay, so those are for monitoring. So again, the point here is to make sure that system of internal control that is implemented are effectively followed by the entity. So we will continue with the information system and communication. So this is the next element in the system of internal control. So an information system consists of infrastructure that is physical and hardware components. So we all know that, as well as software, people, procedures, and data. So many information systems make extensive use also of the IT. Okay, so we have tackled this before. The IS relevant to preparation of FS consists of activities and policies and accounting and supporting records designed to establish to initiate, record, process, and report entity transactions. So this is the main purpose of the accounting, okay, a recording of business transactions, and to maintain accountability for the related assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay, so this is how IS is relevant in the preparation of our financial statements. Another is to resolve any incorrect processing of transactions. For example, automated suspense files and procedures followed to clear suspense items out on a timely basis. So meaning, in this case, in our IS, there is a built-in procedure where errors in the preparation of the account can be detected. Okay, so this should be considered by the entity, okay, in implementing or designing their information system. Okay, another is to process and account for system overrides of bypasses to control. Meaning, here, authorization of the transaction or the administrative control should not be eliminated even with the use of IS. Okay, because there might be some instances where the person in charge of recording these transactions might override or influence, okay, the quality of reporting, okay, of the entity that will benefit his or her own interest. So this one or this thing should not happen. Okay, that's why internal controls should be established, as well as authorization and administrative controls, okay, should be set up as well and followed. Okay, another is transfer information from transaction processing system to the general ledger. Okay, so IS should also have this feature. In fact, this is automating the manual system. Okay, so this is the process of transferring the accounts to the general ledger. Okay, so the information system relevant. Now, another is capture information relevant to financial reporting, okay, for events and conditions other than transactions, such as depreciation, amortization of the assets, and even the changes in the recoverability of AR. Meaning, in this case, the IS should have this feature of um, prompting a message that it is already the time for or the period, okay, to compute for depreciation or amortization or recognize these expenses, as well as the aging of accounts receivable if it's already due, or who are the uh, customers who have delinquency in payments or their respective account balances, and so on. Okay. Another is to ensure information required to be disclosed by the applicable financial reporting framework is accumulated, recorded, processed, summarized, and appropriately reported in the FS. Okay, so this is important consideration also or factor in the IS, especially in the preparation of FS, because disclosure is a requirement by the standard. Okay, so an entity's business process include activities designed to develop, purchase, produce, sell, and distribute an entity's products or service. This is to ensure compliance also with the laws and regulation, record information, which includes accounting and financial reporting information. So this is the business process activities, okay, that should be captured and recorded in the phase of the FS of the entity. So communication involves providing an understanding of the individual roles and responsibilities pertaining to internal control over financial reporting. So this is very important because aside from establishing an effective internal control, for it actually to be effective, implementation and the roles of each, okay, in their part for internal control, okay, should be they should be aware of that role and responsibilities for the internal controls to be effective. Okay, so for the financial reporting, those who are in charge of recording, they should know what are their responsibilities, the extent of their authorization, in the standards that they should follow. Okay, so that's how they should understand, okay, their roles and responsibilities. So this is done through communication, okay, for them to be aware. Okay, awareness is the key, okay, to success in the roles and responsibilities of each person in the entity. Okay, so this includes such matters as the extent to which personnel understand how their activities in the financial reporting IS relate to the work of others, and the means of reporting exceptions to an appropriate higher level within the entity. So this is a very important consideration that each of them is aware of and understand their roles Okay, so communication may take such forms as policy manuals. So they can use this tool to communicate, okay, those roles and responsibilities through manuals and financial reporting manuals. Okay, open communication channels also will help ensure that exceptions are reported and acted upon. Okay, so communication may also be in the form of training, okay, or memorandum and others. Okay, so but the best uh, thing that they can use is the manual. Okay, so this will be their guide in performing their respective tasks. Okay, so those are for the information system and communication.